Hello Facebook, hello YouTube. It is Reuben here and I am back finally again with another video, doing another RX3 update. And today the long and awaited upgrade to conclude our MPG experiment has finally showed up. Last night I checked my mailbox and an unexpected surprise awaited me, which was the 13-tooth front sprocket. I'll put up a little picture of the tracking information and also just my eBay status. Yeah, as you guys can see from there, they didn't give me any type of notification. I thought I was gonna have to wait at least another month, but it showed up. There's no notification. I just saw it and I'm like, all right, no complaints. So I guess the Chinese, the China boat is not so slow after all. All right, so now that we have this, I'm gonna go ahead and go through the process as well, step by step, how to uninstall your front sprocket that's on there and pop this bad boy in, and we'll see how that goes. All right, step number one. What you want to do is you want to loosen both sides of your chain adjustments so that way the chain is nice and sloppy. All right, so once you actually take the cover off and start to take the sprocket out, it's very easy to take out with a loose chain. And then step number two, you're going to undo these two bolts here that's holding on this cover to expose the front sprocket, and then we'll see what's underneath. All right, underneath, this is what the bolt or sprocket looks like. I don't think I have a nut that's going to be, or a socket rather, that's going to be big enough to take this thing off, so I'm gonna have to go to the store and I'll find out what size it is that I might need. All right guys, I found the socket that works. On the China Riders forums, I looked it up. For the 2015 models, you would need a 30mm socket, but for the newer RX3s, you're actually going to need a 32mm socket. So in standard, that's going to be 1 1/4 or 1 1/4. All right guys, my goodness, I've been struggling with this thing back and forth for a little while now, and I got the nut a little bit loose, but I just want to tell you guys what's been going on, just so in case you might run into this same issue. I just want to let it be known so that way you know what type of solution to apply to it. So on the China Riders forum, they recommend put the bike in gear. I've done so, and I'll show you that the bike is in gear. Up here, I'll turn this on. Okay, so the bike is in gear. All right, the chain is loose, bike is in gear. I put it on the center stand. They put it on a wheel chock, and so I went ahead and put this breaker bar on this nut here, and I was trying to unloosen it as much as possible, but every time that I would turn it, the chain and the whole wheel would spin, even with the bike in gear. Okay, so what I did then on the other side, okay, so I put down a bungee cord, tied it to bottom underneath there, the center stand, to hold the brake down so that the wheel doesn't spin. Right? I did that and the wheel still spun. So here's your solution. Okay, when you put this on here like so, if you have a breaker bar like me, it's very helpful. Okay, and what you do once you have it just like that, you want to push really hard and really fast. Okay, so when you do one quick movement, it'll break the nut free a lot easier than, you know, trying to spin it around and pulling the whole back wheel and all that stuff, even when the bike is in gear, and even with the you know, the back brake engaged. So once you do that, you'll be able to loosen the bolt just like I have it loose here. Nothing spins anymore. You can then transition to a socket if you choose, so that way taking the rest of it off will be a lot easier. All right guys, I went ahead and got her off now, cleaned it up. Okay, that's how it looks. What you want to do before you take this off, you want to take the safety clip off. You just use a, you know, like a flat screwdriver, kind of get underneath there, take it off, and then this should you know, come right on out. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this side by side with the new sprockets. Give me 1 second. Okay, so on the right we have our 13 tooth, and on the left we have the stock 14. Okay, obviously the 14 tooth has one more tooth. So for install, go ahead and just reverse the process. Make sure that when you do install it, put this side facing outwards, just like how this one was. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this on, reverse the whole thing, and document any other issues that I may run into. All right, everything's snugged back on. I just got to put the cover back on and tighten this back up. But pretty much what you do with the little clip there, once you've tightened the nut back down to proper spec, you're going to pretty much the reverse. You're going to get underneath there with your screwdriver. You're going to kind of pry underneath to lift it up, and once it's lifted up good enough, just like with the China Rider form says, using an extension, the skinnier the better. Get in there, flatten it down, okay, to pretty much put it back to where it was. Okay, all right, everything's back together, ready to go. Getting the chain back into proper tension took a little while because you know, it's really a little bit shorter with the, I wouldn't say the chain's not shorter, but the adjustment need to be on point, so I had to fine tune that. But I got it tuned up, and I'm gonna go ahead and get my GoPro camera, and we're gonna see the results here shortly. All right, so I'm gonna do just a quick little run down my driveway. I'm gonna flip the camera around so you guys can see me. Yeah, because there was a comment on my post that said, hey, you should film your reaction. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this thing on, fire her up. You guys don't see what I'm doing right now, but basically what I just did, hold on, I'm gonna turn around. Okay, hold on one second. Okay. One second. All right, the bike is in first gear, and all I'm gonna do is just let the clutch out. And we're going. The bike was never able to do that before, especially with me on it. The stock gear, well, the previous gearing of 1445, when my wife was practicing in the parking lot, she was able to just let the clutch out and the bike would move. But you pay attention to this again. All I'm doing is letting the clutch out. I'm holding the phone with my right hand, so there's nothing on the throttle. It can pull itself at idle now. All right, do this one more time. That's crazy. All right, guys, here we go for the ride along, and here we go. I get started and I just let out while it's on idle. I gotta get used to that now. It's pretty crazy now that the RPM band has now been shifted from the previous gearing ratio. Previous gearing ratio, the RPM threshold was at 3,000 RPMs. Now it's at idle speeds, which is 1,500 RPMs. So at 1,500 RPMs, the bike just pulls itself. And that's great, because for low speed applications, for climbing hills, for anything, the bike has a lot more torque, a lot more low end power to pull the weight and to pull the load that's on it, which is very helpful. I mean, with the bike at idle and it's able to just go right off the line, I mean, I only got to twist the throttle to just accelerate. That's pretty much it. And now here we are going through the higher gears. I get up to about 6th gear here, and I put it at around 5,000 RPM, which I usually do. And with it at 5,000 RPMs, I noticed that I'm about 3 to 4 miles an hour slower than I usually was able to achieve at the same RPM range. So we do see a loss in top speed on the top end. That was expected. That was already planned for. I was already with the calculations, I was supposed to lose around 9% of top speed. But once we do the top speed test tomorrow, we'll find out how fast this thing can really go at the very top speed. But I'm just going to go on a little rant for a second, because I mean, this bike is so drastically different now with this low gear setup. I mean, I'm riding around the parking lot in 2nd gear in single digits. I just think any bike, period, no matter what bike it is, you should be able to do low speed maneuvers quite easily. And I don't know if I speak for everybody when I say this, but I think the majority of folks, because I've made this claim before. I mean, if you weigh over 200 pounds and the bike has its stock gearing, you're not going to be able to do low speed maneuvers. And the bike, in my opinion, it's just not safe. It's not safe with its stock gearing because of its inability to be able to, a person to be able to do low speed maneuvers and to be able to do a U-turn easily and things of that nature. I mean, the bike really should come stock with a 13-tooth front sprocket, and you can have a 14-tooth front sprocket if you so choose, if you want to go faster, just like all the other bikes of CSC. They're usually geared low, and then you just buy different sprockets that gear them higher if you want to. So I'm just throwing that in there. CSC, if you're watching this, please just give the RX3 with a 13-tooth front sprocket stock. The majority of your consumers probably buy the 13-tooth sprocket anyway. That's probably why it's sold out too. But all right, off of my rant now. Here I went ahead and tried to see the low end threshold at higher gear speeds, at higher speeds as well, in higher gears, and I believe. Here we are, 4th gear, and at 16 miles an hour. 4th gear, 16 miles an hour. It's basically at RPM, at the RPMs of idle. So previous gearing, it was, I believe, 25 or 20. I think it was 25. Now I can go 16. That's really, really low. Wow. This is a totally different motorcycle now. All right, guys, there you have it, man. I'm kind of shocked. I really am. I've never had, I mean, I've only had 2 motorcycles in my life, and that was the T2250 and this one. And I know from watching a lot of different YouTube videos and you know, just safety videos of practicing in parking lots and all that stuff, it's quite important to be able to have low speed maneuvering skills. And the bike within its stock configuration, and even the configuration prior to this, it was quite challenging to do low speed maneuvers, right? So having the ability now to just use the clutch to do low speed makes things so much easier, right? I can do a U-turn a lot easier. I can, I don't know, just maneuver around miscellaneous obstructions or hazards a lot easier during low speed maneuvers. And I think that's a very key thing for you to be able to do on a motorcycle, no matter what it is. And so I'm really glad that I now have that ability to do that. But we're just gonna have to see whether or not, you know, with this new gearing now, whether that also equates to better MPG performance. And to be quite frank with you, honestly, I'm just spitting this off the top of my head, you know, I honestly don't even care at this point whether or not it actually gives me better MPG performance or not. The motorcycle is just altogether just performs way better, and it is a lot safer when I have those low speed capabilities now. But we'll see what type of impact it makes on the MPG performance. I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow. So until next time, guys, stay tuned. Peace out.